The songwriter was Matthew West. I wanted to share that with you because that's how the Lord works. Took that little boy's despair and placed his father at the door to where he needed to hear that. Turned him around. Holy Spirit. Everyone will feel the Holy Spirit in their own way. In the Bible, it's often described as a still, small voice that almost seems to whisper to your mind. In 1 Kings 19. And he said, "Go forth and stand upon the mount before the Lord. And behold, the Lord passed by, and a great and strong wind rent the mountains, and brake in pieces the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind an earthquake. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake a fire. But the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire a still small voice." It was so when Elijah heard it. The Spirit was not an earthquake. It was not a fire. It was a still small voice seeking to share. I mentioned earlier that God answers our prayers through others. He can put people into our lives at the right time who can give or be the answer what we've been looking for. In the song I played, the young boy prayed with all his heart. And who do you suppose placed the Father at that door to where he could hear? So I'm running a little over here. I want to give you time to stand and share. God will be pleased if you would stand today and simply thank Him for His Son. Amen. He would be pleased with that. No one's here to judge anyone. I know it's hard to stand and share details of any situation, but it could be beneficial for when your brothers and sisters who come together with you every week know when you're having trials, one might have an answer for you. We all have different talents. I shared from Doctrine and Covenants with you. Let me throw this example out to you. If you was to be having trouble with, say, a light on your porch, you keep putting new bulbs in and it keeps blowing out. You called for service, it was going to be $500 after you told them what was wrong. You don't know them. They come to see you and you see your kids standing there next to you and they start saying things like, "This could start a fire and this is very dangerous. We need to replace that fixture. I'll be back in an hour with a new one." Comes back, puts up the new light and hands you a bill for $700, telling you it was a special fixture that cost $200 that wasn't in their quote. So what could you have done instead? Well, last Sunday at prayer service, you could have stood and said, "Lord, help me find the answer to why my light bulb keeps going out. Things are a little tight and I called for service and it's going to be $500. And it's dark when the kids go out to school in the morning. Please help me find an answer." Amen. That's where the power of prayer comes in. Just so happens your pastor's an electrician and would have said, "I can stop by tomorrow." And in 5 minutes, maybe 10, it takes me 5 minutes to climb a ladder these days, you're done. Pastor's happy you stood for prayer. He got to see you for a few minutes the next day. Mom's happy the house isn't going to disappear. Kids are happy Dad didn't try to fix it himself and shock himself. All through the power of prayer. All because you stood and shared your concern with the Lord. And one of your brothers and sisters had the talent to be able to help you. That's why the Lord gives us all these talents, so that we can help each other. I said earlier, if we don't let other people into our trials and crises, we miss out on blessings we might have received from God. We are here for each other. We should share with one another. I would ask that the Holy Spirit would encourage you to pray this day. Let us move right into prayer and testimony. I'm going to skip the next hymn. Give us time to allow you time. Who would be first today to share? Brother Paul.
Well, I'm sitting here listening to your talking and thinking about what I would share this morning. I started thinking about how each day I kind of like to start the day off with a prayer. So a lot of time what I do, I get up and swing my feet off the side of the bed, sit there for a minute and bow my head and start to say something. And next thing I know, my mind's going all kinds of ways. And I start to ask the Lord about one thing, and while I'm trying to ask Him about one thing, or say one thing, while my mind drifting onto something else. And so after a little bit, I figured, well, I got to change that because that ain't working too well. So now I say, well, wake up first and then start talking, because talking before you're awake ain't too good an idea. But everything that Donnie has shared I can testify is absolutely true. Many times I know I've been, let's say, just confused about things or just down about things, and find myself in need to ask the Lord for help. And many times I wasn't given a direct answer at the moment, but just got a little bit of, felt just calmer, better talking to Him, and found the answer coming sometime later. So I know that I can too testify to the fact that the prayer does work, and very effectively. We need to apply a little patience sometime. I know I need to apply patience sometime to it. Like most people, I like to have quick, easy, and definite answers. He doesn't always do it that way. I know in my case, a lot of times he says, well, you know, I'll give you the basics, but you got to work it out. And I guess it's the nature of people sometimes to be a little bit lazy. That way we like to ask the question, have somebody give us all the directions. And sometimes he does that. But I know that a lot of times it doesn't matter if working it out. And I appreciate that we have a God that we can talk to and who will answer us. And okay, I guess the biggest thing we need to say is that we just need to apply the faith to listen. And listen to us, as Donnie said, to that still small voice, because it's not very often that many of us are blessed with that, the audible voice of the Lord coming into our minds. And so it is often we have to listen to the way He's talking to us. I'd like to share a prayer, if I might. Father in heaven, I do thank You for the privilege of being with You here this morning. Thank You, Father, for the privilege of being with my brothers and sisters. And I thank You, Father, for the blessings that You have showered upon us, opening this channel by which we may communicate with You, and that we might expect to receive an answer, Father. Help us always, Father, to be receptive to that which we are asking. Help us, Father, to be understanding, and help us, Father, to always have the faith that we need. Father, I would thank You for the blessings that You have given to us, and pray on behalf of many of our brothers and sisters who are suffering from various kinds of afflictions, many of them physical. We know our sister Arlene now has this little break that she has had, this physical problem, and now in therapy. Pray that You might be with her, Father, to strengthen her. And there are many others among us, Father, who need Thy help, and pray that they may receive the needed comfort they need as well as the physical healing. Father, we as a nation are going through many problems, and I pray that you might speak to those who are in charge and give them the guidance and direction that they need. Pray that you might be with our president as he tries to lead us, that we might do those things, Father, which are wise, which are prudent, and go about it in such a way, Father, to accomplish things that you would have done. We do thank you, Father, for this church that you have called to be brought back in the latter days, and pray, Father, that you might continue to strengthen us so we might fulfill thy will, whatever it might be concerning us. Thank you again, Lord, for all you've blessed us with. Accept this prayer, I ask, Father, with thanksgiving and praise, and may all the glory always be thine, we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
So grateful to be here. Thank you for always being with us and watching over us. Father, I too ask that we continue to be with Dan and Arlene, that they will realize that they need help and that they will allow us to aid in that, to help them. I also ask that you be with Richard King. You will help him in the aid that he needs. He realized that he needs to be here. We need them here also. I ask that you be with this body family, that everything that they have to go through is coming to a head, and whatever your will be for them, that they will be able to accept it and have comfort. Father, we thank you so much. I pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
If I can retain my voice, I'd like to share something with you. Most of you have known me for a number of years. And you know the experiences that I've experienced in this church and this edifice and the building of this building and all those little things that I've endured during my life. And I've never suffered for any major physical problems. The Lord has blessed me tremendously throughout my life. He's allowed me to do all the work that I wanted and needed to do without any problems. Until now. Right now I've been hit with both barrels, so to speak. I want to share something. Each of us have our own little private areas in our mind that we don't ever talk about or share with each other. And I'm the same way. So I'm going to share something that happened a long time ago. And it's been in my mind. But I was jarred to remembrance as I looked at the prayer list and was talking about it. Talked about Rick and Ian and Neil, Thomas, and the loss of Sandy, and the tremendous pain they went through when she passed away, and suffering. And then I looked and there was another name on here that I didn't even address. A name by the little gal by the name. Isn't that something? Kaylee Judge. Her name isn't Judge now. She's married, lives up in the Northwest. with her husband, and at this point, I think she's had 2 children. But she's a newly married, beautiful girl. And she's on this list because she has Crohn's disease. And that jarred my memory. As you know, my beloved wife passed away 17 years ago now, 2002. We were married for 48 years, and then shortly after we got married, she came down with a physical problem. It wasn't called Crohn's at that time, many years ago, but it became known as Crohn's as the time went on. Throughout our married life, 48 years, she suffered with Crohn's disease. And so in the last days of her life, she spent different times in the hospital where they treated her and with what medication they had, and she'd come home and seemed to be living a normal life. But the last time I took her to the hospital, she was suffering pretty badly. In the last day or two that she lived in the hospital, of course I prayed for her and want to continue that. Because we had a relationship which is, I don't know how to explain it. We adored one another. We did everything together and for each other. There was a deep love that the Lord generated in our lives. And so when she hurt, I hurt. In a different way, of course. And so on the last, I don't know whether it's the last day or the last couple before she passed away, I was praying to the Lord, and I said to him, and this is the personal thing that I've heard in my mind. Heavenly Father, you've been so good to us, blessed us in so many ways. My prayer to you at this time is that you would please remove the pain that Shirley is suffering from and give it to me. Let me bear that pain for her. And the Lord didn't answer that prayer. At least he didn't answer it as I had expected and hoped. And in the next few hours she passed away. He took her home. I never shared that before. But the years passed. It's been 17 years now. And all at once, about 2 or 3 months ago, I was afflicted with a terrific pain. And so I've been treated for back, for stomach, for all kinds of situations surrounding this terrible condition. I never had such a terrible experience in my life as the pain that I had endured on several occasions. People, a couple of times I've been asked, why don't you get ministered to? And I just shrug it off and don't say anything. You see, I have in my mind, I could be all wet, I don't expect you to believe any of this, but my private thoughts, perhaps this is the time that the Lord is answering that prayer which I gave to Him so many years ago. And He's allowing me now to bear some of that pain. He took her away so she don't have any pain anymore. Simply right after I heard that prayer. Perhaps now is the time that He decided, well, it's time that you might suffer the pain that you asked for. Not because you deserve it, not because I want to give it to you, but I'm going to allow you to have that pain just as a reminder of what a wonderful life you've been privileged to have, and the wonderful blessings that you received. And so maybe it's now that you need to be reminded of how wonderful you had it all these years. The Apostle James, I sat down and read his letter this morning, and in it he mentions that we need to be afflicted at times as a reminder of how wonderful the Lord is and has been to us. Perhaps that's what is happening to me at this time. I just wanted to share that with you because I thought it was important. When we ask for something in prayer, as Pastor has mentioned to us, we don't know what the answer might be. We don't know what form it will take. But He'll answer it. Perhaps it took Him 17 years to answer my prayer. So I can't complain. And I won't complain about the pain and suffering. But I only pray that He will give me the ability to endure it until something else happens. I just wanted to share that with you. And it's a personal testimony of my own about how much the Lord loves us. Nobody has been blessed more in their life than I have, especially with a beautiful marriage and a wonderful family. And when I looked at this little girl's name, and she's a beautiful girl, and I love her, Kaylee, I just wonder what their marriage is going to be like. They're just starting. How many years do they have ahead of them where she is going to have to endure this terrible disease called Crohn's, which creates an unbearable pain to one who suffers with it. Her name is going to be on our list, and I'll be making it a point to be praying for her too.
You know, it was read this morning about the opening scriptures that to each is given certain gifts. I believe that's true. And I think it's also true that each person is given certain weaknesses. Some might be alcohol, some might be drugs, some might be other different types of things. And each person has temptations in their life, weaknesses, things to overcome. It can be health, financial, mental, spiritual. It can be any number of those things. And I think I'm reminded, you know, it's there is a lot of power in prayer, and there's a lot of things that can be done that will help us do that. I know the Lord has helped make my burdens light so many times. And it's easy to walk to church. It's easy to pray and give the Lord thanks when all is well. When you feel good, when your table is abounding with food, when your bank account is sufficient, when the income flow is sufficient, when you have everything you need. That's easy. Easier. Some have that and still are unable to give the Lord thanks. When you think about it, there are times in our lives when we're on easy street. Then there ought to be other times. Are you able to give the Lord thanks when you're sick? When your life is threatened? When every part of your body hurts? If you've lost a loved one? I could go on and on. That's when the Lord wants to know what you're made of. I don't know that any of us would be worthy of a crown of any kind if we had no temptation, if our life was totally easy. You've heard the saying, you have to taste bitter to know the sweet. I think the same thing is true in our lives. I never appreciate feeling well until after I've been sick a while. Then it all comes back to me. Oh yeah, how wonderful it is to feel well. How wonderful it is to have these, that, or the other. On Easter, it was mentioned in the sermon. The key part that stuck with me was praise the Lord. I thought that was very important. Praise the Lord at all times. And 2 weeks ago, a song was held up. Count your blessings one by one. Count your blessings to see what the Lord has done. I began to think about my many blessings. Too many to count, actually. And so I really do appreciate the many times that the Lord has blessed me. They are truly too many to count. So I stand at this time to say sometimes the frailty of the human body is such that you do call upon the Lord. A man in Fort Worth used to say that God is a great physician. He would say that during the administration. I think that's true. There isn't anything that the Lord can't help us with. Be it the sorrow of your heart, or a human frailty that we have. It's not like a checking account on earth. You can only write so many checks. It's not that way at all. You could ask the Lord for a blessing every day of your life. You could ask for administration several times in a row. There is no limit. The Lord is there. The Lord has his hand outreached to each and every one. Again, there's no limit. The Lord wishes to bless each and every one that calls upon his name. He's provided the method to do that, the sacrament for that, the ordinance for that. Everything is set up. It's up to the individual to ask for it. I think one of the things that was impressed upon me also in former administrations was asking that the Lord's will be done, and then being able to accept that. Sometimes, like others have mentioned, I know I've prayed for the wrong thing before, and I've got it too. I got exactly what I prayed for. More than 17 years ago. Just a small part I've never shared with anyone. In grade school, I didn't like music class at all. It was, we would go to music class one day, art class one day, physical education the next day. Well, art class was okay, but PE was the greatest. I didn't like singing, I couldn't sing. I thought it was a waste of my time. I had no appreciation for music at the time. So when I would say my prayers at night, I would tell the Lord that he didn't need to waste his time helping me to be able to sing, because I didn't need that, nor did I want that. To this day, I couldn't carry a tune in a 5-gallon bucket. I can't sing at all. Zero. I have an appreciation of music and those who can sing or play instruments. But that is something that I prayed for as a youth that definitely came through. So again, sometimes